August the 2nd, 2025. Guys, a quick tropical update. We have two systems out in the Atlantic, and I did a video a couple of days ago talking about we haven't seen anything and that we desperately needed it just to cool off the Atlantic and the Gulf and the Caribbean. But now we've got a 30% chance of development with this system. Now it's moving offshore, and I was looking at the Hatteras webcams about an hour or so ago, and the waves were up coming into some of those big fishing piers there. But it says a non-tropical area of low pressure has formed along a frontal boundary about 150 miles off the coast of North Carolina. This system could acquire some tropical or subtropical characteristics through Monday while it moves east-northeastward at about 10 miles per hour away from the coast of North Carolina. Environmental conditions become less conducive for development after Monday. This thing more than likely will cross the northern Atlantic and give the UK some wind and rain. Now, 20% chance down here. And notice that that angle is going up. And a lot of times when you see an angle this far out, that's this sharp, these storms also will do that curve into the Atlantic. But we're going to keep an eye on it. They're saying it's a 20% chance of cyclone formation, 7 days. And it's forecast to move off the west coast of Africa in the next day or two. Environmental conditions could support some gradual development of the wave during the middle to latter part of the next week while it moves generally west-northward or northwestward across the central tropical Atlantic. Again, 20% chance of development. Now let's take a look at the U.S. satellite images right now. Here is the system moving off the east coast. Very good rotation, counterclockwise, everything. It's being caught up in the front and pushed out into the Atlantic, we hope. That's where it's projected to go. You can tell the upper level winds are pushing it out in that direction. You got a tremendous amount of Canadian wildfire smoke over the Great Lakes. Check this out, guys. Look at that. And it's all the way down into this area here in the south before the day is over. Look at that. And so if you're seeing some orange sunsets or orange tints on your trees and things, it's because of that Canadian wildfire smoke. Now, you still have it blazing up along the north rim of the Grand Canyon right there. See that? I guess the politicians there in Arizona are so worried about going to jail that they're just not paying a lot of attention to this burn, one of the most beautiful forests in this part of the country. Notice how green it is on that side of the rim. Right there. I walked through here and through the forest on both sides around this area here. It's beautiful. You don't see very many human footprints or trails, mostly animals. But it's there. It's a habitat that's needed, and it's just a shame to see our nation coming to this right here, because this could have been put out 2 weeks ago. It should have been. And there's smoke coming in from different places, guys, but it's just a shame to see now that the fire is extending not just northward, but it's moving northwest further along the rim here. They're going to end up losing this entire section of national forest if they don't pay attention. Again, it's a crying shame. Guys, you got a big fire starting right here too in South California. Look at that. Maybe since you got a different FEMA set up in place, different FEMA personnel, you may have a little better help than you had during the Palisades fire. That's been a disaster, and it was definitely just like Hawaii and a land grab. Newsom and Bass has lied to everybody about it, but this fire is burning. You can see it mixing into the top of the clouds here. Very dense. Now, guys, what they're watching out in the far Atlantic coming off of Africa is this system right there. You see the sunset, watch it as it comes back around right here, right under the Cabo Verde Islands. And they're expecting that to come through the Saharan sand layer, which is being pulled back slightly. And if it's going to travel in that way, that's telling us one thing, that the high pressure is moving north in the Atlantic, and that's going to allow and start allowing more tropical activity. As you can see, again, here's a storm moving off the coast of North Carolina, and here under the Cabo Verde Islands is the system they're watching. Now, this is up on the Outer Banks, guys, in North Carolina, and it's getting dark. Earlier today, you could really see the waves. If they pull this back again and zoom it back out, then you'll be able to see the activity. But it was pretty impressive. A lot of wind. There were still a few people trying to fish, but it looked like it was kind of a little bit rough to do much of that. But you can, let's back out, you can see, look right down in here. Normally the ocean here is not this active, guys. It's not like the West Coast. And you can definitely tell it's churned up. So what is that telling you guys that are living along the East Coast? The rip currents are going to be very tough. People are going to drown if they're not careful. So if you know people that are there or thinking about being there over the weekend, guys, let them know about this. You tell them, just stay out of the water, enjoy your fishing on the pier, whatever you're going to do. But if you get in this type of turbulence and it's pulling out to sea, the rip currents are going to be twice as bad. Again, I don't want to drag this out too long, guys. Just wanted to give you an update on what we're seeing right now. And that's a good picture right there, guys. You can see the waves breaking out on the end of the pier in the blue light. And if most of you that are there in this area, you understand that normally this is much calmer than that. But it's not coming in, it's going out. And that's a good thing because there's a lot of energy in that system. You could see it on the satellite itself. But we're watching, guys, watch for a full update on this in the morning. We'll know a little bit more about it. And I don't think it's the last formations that we're going to see in the next week or so, possibly in the Caribbean, maybe again in the the central part of the Atlantic. But we're watching it. You watch it, guys. It's a heads up. Be safe.